practice. Practice. We're talking about practice. To quote Allen Iverson, yes, we're talking about practice because it is so important to hone your skills before you go out and do what you do. Do you want to practice on your clients or do you want to practice ahead of time in a friendly space like we do every Saturday? Hey everybody, Mike Ferrante here, and it's time again for Tuesday training. And I decided to go ahead and talk about practice, show you what a role play session looks like. We do this every single Saturday, and there's agents from all over, different states, different brokerages. We get together and we learn so much from each other. We become so much better at what we do. And so we just wanted to show you what it looks like on a Zoom, which is what we do every Saturday, 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern time. Hit me up, Mike at 21mike.com if you want to be added. And of course, join us every Tuesday for this training. Now, these get published to YouTube. The audio goes out on the podcast, which is Free Beer and Real Estate. And of course, we're live on Facebook. So what up, Facebook? By the way, if you're watching this somewhere, please like, follow, subscribe by smashing that button. And let's get down to it because I know a lot of people want to join us. And I have my teammate, Mike Pillow, who's down in Mount Vernon, Apple Valley Lake area, Howard, Ohio. What is going on, Mike? Are you ready for this?
Hey, I am ready. This is what we do every Saturday.
To us,
Good times.
it's like shooting free throws, right? Like we love our sports analogies, and I don't know about you, but at the end of every practice, our coach would make us shoot free throws when you're tired, and then it just becomes natural. It's muscle memory, and it's the same thing with role play practice, right?
Absolutely.
When
It's
you
a perishable skill. And if you
Mhm.
don't work on it, you're going to lose it.
Yeah. And when you start to dial, like you're not nervous, right? Like, I mean, I still, every time I start, I get that little knot in my stomach and I'm like, oh, here we go. But frankly, I'm going to guess that when you start dialing the phone, it's just like, okay, it's like shooting a free throw. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Exactly. I mean, talking about the free throws, when you're in the game, did you ever hear the crowd? I didn't. And that's why we practice these role plays because we're not really hearing the crowd. We're focused on the job at hand. And like I said, it's muscle memory.
That's great. All right, so let's get down to it because this is what I promised everyone today. We're going to show you what it looks like. Now, we are usually practicing phone scripts, so we turn off our video when we do that. For the purpose of today, since we're on a Zoom and this is going out on video as well, we'll let you see our facial expressions. I'm not going to look at Mike when I role play because frankly, the nonverbal communications give you an advantage. So it's so important. The words you say, the intonation, some of the little strategies that we're going to show you today will explain why we did what we did. So when we do a role play, we do a scenario. The first scenario is going to be something simple. It's going to be lead, follow up. How many of you guys get a lead, says they want to see 123 Main Street, and you call them up and you don't convert because of one reason or another? I'll throw some objections at Mike. We'll listen to how he answers them. We'll end the call, and then we do a quick recap. We do good jobs and next time. So we'll talk about what he did well and why he did it. And if we have any next times, we mention those too because we always want to be improving. Then we'll flip the script. I'll be the agent, and I'm going to call Mike doing a quick circle prospecting script. So as we always do, Mike, whenever you're ready, start with a ring ring.
Ring, ring.
Hello,
Mike?
who's this?
Hey, Mike, this is Mike Pillow, your local Apple Valley realtor. And I see that you just put in a request to see property over at 123 Main Street. And
I, yeah, I don't. Who are you again?
I'm Mike Pillow. I'm with LPT Realty. And I just received a message that you're interested in the property at 123 Main Street. Were you not looking at that property?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm looking for a property. I don't remember that one though. I clicked on a bunch of links today, so you're like the third agent to call me back. So
Oh,
I don't know what's what.
okay. I get it. It gets frustrating where you get these calls from these realtors. But anyway, it's the house on the corner that has the big detached garage in the back. If that jogs your memory.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, I did really like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know if they have offers on that property?
Well, I couldn't tell you about the offers. It's not my listing, but I could get you in there to see it this afternoon. I'm available at 3 and also at 5:30. Does either of those times work for you?
Yeah, actually 5:30 would work good. But I did have a couple other questions though about the property.
Okay.
Yeah, first, I don't recognize your name. Are you the listing agent on that property?
No, I'm not the listing agent. I'm your buyer's agent. I'm going to be the one that's going to help you negotiate the best terms so you can get this property with the best value.
Oh. I always heard it's better to go directly to the listing agent because, somehow they know more about the property or I could get a better deal or something like that. So, I mean, maybe I should just do that.
Oh, that's an option that you could take. I want to ask you something, Mike. Who do you think that listing agent is representing? You or the seller?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I suppose the seller.
So when it comes down to negotiating, who might that listing agent be looking out for more so in that transaction?
Mm, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, probably
Yeah,
the seller.
it's kind of like me being your attorney and I'm also your prosecuting attorney. That's not really a good mix, is it?
Yeah, I see what you're doing there, Mike. That's pretty good. Okay, well, you made your point. But the other questions I had though, do you know does that property like would I be allowed to have chickens on that property?
Well, the zoning is not for agriculture in that area. No, you couldn't have chickens. I do know because it's actually around the corner from my house. So I know the
Oh.
zoning doesn't allow for chickens. Well, what is it about this property that interests you? I know you mentioned chickens.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of a pipe dream we've had, with having our own chickens and maybe having a little more space to spread out, so we want at least an acre. And so that, seemed to have enough land. We just tired of being on top of the neighbors is the main thing. And we don't want to do too much work to a property.
Right, that makes sense. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're going to have a home to sell.
Yeah, I got one of those little ranches, with the tiny lots where I can like lean over and see what the neighbors are cooking for dinner. So yeah, we want to get rid of that property and,
Okay.
upgrade to something with a little more space.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you know what? You say the little ranch with being close to your neighbors, that's actually a hot commodity for a lot of the folks living out of the Columbus area or working out of the Columbus area, but they want to get out of town. Your property would actually sell pretty quick. I'm just curious, where about or is your property located?
Well, I'm on 234 High Street. What do you
Oh
think my
yeah.
yeah, what do you think it's worth?
Well, I would have to do a walkthrough. Yeah, I couldn't give you a fair assessment just by the address. I'm familiar with your address because actually I sold a neighbor of yours home a couple years ago. Tim Smith over on Elk Street there. He's right just around the corner from your house. So I'm familiar with your area. I have an idea. Why don't we do this? Why don't we meet today at 5:30? We'll go look at this house and you can tell me all the features you like about it. And then I'm available. I mean, we're not that far from your home. But yeah, you take me over there and you show me all the different things you've done, and I can get a better idea of what kind of setting that we're looking at. And I could put together what's called a comparative market analysis and give you an idea of what the market's saying your house is worth.
Hmm.
Would you be
Well,
against me doing that for you?
yeah, I got it. No, I wouldn't be against it, but I got to check with my wife, how she wants to probably pick the place up a little bit. So I'll tell you what, we'll keep the 5:30 and then I'll let you know if it's okay if you stop over after that.
Okay, that sounds good. I tell you what, before we end this call, I want to send you my a text message with my business card so you have my contact information. And I'd also like to do a little research on this home and email it to you so we can be a little more prepared when we go into this. Can I get an email that you check frequently?
Um, yeah, sure. It's Mike@gmail.com.
Perfect, Mike. I tell you what, I'll put all this together and I'll send you the information I have. Plus, I'll send you 3 documents that we need to review before we go through the home. And with explanation on all that. And I'll even put together some information on your house so we have a little background to sort through there.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm sorry.
I said, okay.
All right. Well, I will get this email off to you and I'll send you a text and I will see you at 5:30.
All right. Okay. So just a quick clarification. So if you guys are listening, you probably hear us sound like we're making stuff up. Well, we are. Okay. It's like improv. It's like improv. When you are in improv, you always say yes. So we don't have a particular home in mind. Now, the role play I'm about to do, I do have some actual factual people I'm going to talk about. But when we role play, we just kind of roll with it, and it's all about getting the workout in. Okay, so I didn't have a particular property in mind. I was making that up, and Mike, of course, reacted to it. He did pitch that he's a local realtor. So what we do is we do good jobs and next time. So here, my good jobs for Mike is obviously his tone. You guys notice how I try to get into character, and I was thinking I'm grumpy. I'm tired of my phone ringing, and when I answered, I was very, very grumpy. And Mike's tone uplifted me, even though I didn't immediately react to his first line. I said, "Well, who are you again?" Because that's going to happen, right? Not everyone's going to say, "Oh yeah, I remember that house exactly." And so he also fought through that. I loved the handling of the "Are you the listing agent" objection? Because face it, I mean, that happens. I was just at an open house on Sunday, and a lady walked in the door and she said, "I usually work directly with the listing agent." Now, I happen to be the listing agent on that one, so I said, "Great, let's talk about how that works." Now, at the end, you probably noticed that Mike mentioned the documents, and rather than object to that, just for time purposes, I did not go into that. So, naturally, sometimes people are going to say, "Well, wait a minute, what documents?" And we can go into the whole commission objection and all that kind of stuff. We'll do that on another role play. The only thing that Mike didn't mention, but I'm sure he's going to do it, is he got my email address. So, thumbs up for that. What I like to do after an appointment is mention sending a calendar invitation. The calendar invitation seals the deal. You're 99% more likely to have that person show up at the appointment if you've sent them at least a text follow-up, which Mike always does, and then the email calendar invitation. So I really don't have too many next times for Mike because he's been doing this for so long. Not in terms of years, but he's probably done, I don't know, maybe not thousands, but at least hundreds of practice role play sessions. So, Mike, any self critiques, anything that you think you did exceptionally well, or anything you would do better?
Well, I stumbled over myself a couple times, but I recognized it and I picked myself up and kept moving on. I can't remember exactly where it was offhand. Um,
Well, I have a comment about that. If we sound too perfect and robotic, that's not good either. So to me,
right.
it felt very natural. I didn't mind the little stumbles.
Yeah.
So like if you sound like you're reading a script, that's a bad thing. So I thought it felt very natural. And of
It-
course, we're our own worst critics, Mike. As
yeah.
former athletes, we beat ourselves up, right?
Yeah. But it goes back to what we've been sharing with our teammate role. It's just a conversation. We have to have the tools and know the questions to ask, but let the conversation lead you.
Yeah.
And and I think that's where we went with that. I did ask you about your home to sell and
Yep.
tried to get in there for an appointment for that.
So the potential of a listing appointment, that's the home run question that so many agents miss on buyer lead follow-ups. And number two, there was one point where you asked me what I liked about that home, and that got me talking. And the talk percentage is something else that we work on. We want the prospect to do a lot of the talking because we're on a recon mission. We're trying to gather information. We're trying to develop some kind of bond. Now, in an ideal world, you'd set a buyer consultation and we would sit down and talk for 10 to 30 minutes about my home search. But guys, I would argue that it's more important to set the appointment. By the way, did you notice how Mike set the appointment very early in the conversation? That breaks down that wall of, well, are you going to ask me 30 questions before I actually get to see the house I want to see? That's why he did that. And did you notice the choice close? Does 3:30 or 5:30 work better? Give them a choice, fits into your schedule, rather than just saying, "Well, when would you like to see it?" I don't like those kind of nebulous questions. I like open-ended questions in general, like what did you like about it? But when you're setting an appointment, don't do the calendar dance where I say, "Well, how about 8 o'clock tonight?" And you're like, "Well, that doesn't work. How about 6 o'clock?" Well, no, how about tomorrow morning? Perfect use of the choice close when setting the appointment. Any final thoughts, Mike? Otherwise, let's switch over to my circle prospecting call.
Yeah, the choice close is huge because like you said, you're going to do a dance and we don't want to do the dance. And it also shows that you're busy, that you're it's not the only client I'm working with today.
I love
So
it. Yep. Okay, so quick reminder, Mike at 21mike.com. If you like what you're hearing so far and want to jump in role play with us, everyone's welcome. We don't care what brokerage you're with, how experienced you are, if you're an expert, or if there's a certain script you want to work on. So right now, I'm going to start with a ring ring and I'm going to do a circle prospecting script that I'm actually doing right now. And Mike's a good role play partner, so he's going to throw some objections at me without a doubt. Ring ring.
Hello,
Hi, Mike.
who's this? What do you want?
Hey, Mike, it's Mike Ferrante. I'm a local real estate broker, and I'm just wondering if you got that postcard I sent you about a week ago.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not selling my house.
Oh, yeah, yeah. When you hear realtor, you probably think, oh, I wasn't expecting your call. What are you selling? But actually, I'm calling on behalf of some buyers. And I noticed you've been in your home for a while, so I'm just trying to find them a home. So, Mario and Jessica, they've been looking for a while and they're looking for a home just like yours. I know it's not the right time for you, but who do you know in your neighborhood who might be looking to make a move?
Oh, I really don't talk to the neighbors that much. I work all the time. Uh, I don't know who you're looking for because I just know I'm not going to sell my house.
Ah, gotcha. So, are you in your forever home?
Well, that's a good question. Not exactly. I mean, when I retire, I want to move, but right now I want to stay in place.
Ah, gotcha. How long
You
till
know,
you retire?
well, about 2 years.
Oh, that's not that far off. You
No,
made it
no,
sound like it was a long way off.
no, no. Once I retire, we want to make a move.
Gotcha. When you do make a move, where do you think you'll go?
Oh, we're thinking South Dakota. We like those rolling hills of South Dakota and the
It,
weather.
that's a big change from this area to South Dakota. So apart from the rolling hills, what's attracted you there?
Well, yeah, we have some family out that way.
Ah, gotcha. Well, like I said, probably not the right time for you today. But most people who are thinking about making a move do like to kind of know what the value of their property is in preparation of selling it, and also what things can help improve value. One of the things that I do for my most successful sellers is I help them make a list of improvements they can be working on. So whether it's a week, a month, or 2 years, they're ready to sell. I'm actually available over the next a couple days, in the evenings, either Thursday or Friday evening around 5 or 6. If that happens to work for you, I'd be happy to do a quick walkthrough.
Well, I've done a lot of work to my house. I've been remodeling it for the last, often, different aspects for the last 6, 7 years. So, I mean, I'd say that we're in pretty good shape, ready to sell, when that time comes. But
Gotcha. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is brand new, new construction, never been lived in, and 1 is a full rehab, where do you think your house would fall in that scale?
well, it's an older home. It's built in the '60s. I mean, but it's not an old home because I've done a lot of remodeling to it. I mean, it's a beautiful home. It's just it's got some age behind it.
Gotcha. So, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being brand new and 1 being full rehab, what do you think?
I would say 7.
Okay. And what would you do to it to maybe get it up to an 8 or 9?
Well, it's going to need some new flooring, because we put carpet in a few years ago, and I wouldn't want to sell it with this carpet, and I want to do some work to the garage. The garage is kind of leaning on the one side there. I just need to do some work there, but outside of that, the house is in pretty good shape.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like you're pretty handy, but if you ever do need a referral for any contractors or dumpster or anything, please save my number. What I'd like to do, Mike, I got an idea. Like I said, clearly you said you're not ready today, but I've got your phone number. Could I ask you what is the best email you check most often? Because I'd like to send you some information about the neighborhood and about pricing and so forth.
You're not going to send me a bunch of spam, are you?
Oh, of course not, Mike. I mean, you've made it quite clear you're not ready right now, but what I like to do is help people. That's really what I'm trying to do, just like I'm trying to help my buyers right now. But what I could do is just have this email come to you where you save my info, and maybe once in a while I might just let you know what's going on in the neighborhood, like a little newsletter, maybe once a month at most. Do I have your permission to do that?
Yeah, that would be fine. My email is Mike at Gmail.
Okay, perfect. All right, I got it. And I'll tell you what, I will check in with you as your retirement gets a little closer. And when we hang up, I'm just going to text you my contact information. So, I'm a local expert here, so please save me in your phone. And if something does come up between now and then, definitely give me a holler.
Yeah, that sounds good, Mike. I appreciate it.
Hey, great catching up with you. I got some more calls to make. Mario and Jessica need me to find them a home, so I appreciate your time.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All righty. I feel like I was a little rusty there, but go ahead and lay it on me, Miguel.
No, actually, you did very well. Your tone kind of got me out of my grumpy old man persona. Uh, I liked how you listened to what I said. I wasn't interested in trying to help you find a seller for or a house for your buyer, but you heard the cues that I gave you that I'm about to sell my house down the road, even though I'm not ready. Not going to sell. What opened it up was your line from Lee. Are you in your forever home? And that broke my barrier right there. Because
Yeah.
no, I'm
We
not in my
talk about
forever home.
we talk about smoke screens and actual objections. So what's kind of interesting is I wasn't sure where you were taking that because we're strangers on that role play, and I was half expecting you to say, "Well, I'm 20 years out from retirement." And so one of the important skills is learning when to get off the phone. So if you're not interested in talking to me and you're 20 years to retirement, I may still try to get an email address from you and see if you're interested in getting my drip campaign newsletter, but I would have ended that call a lot quicker when you responded to the "Are you in your forever home?" and I heard the good news that you're really just 2 years out. Guys, it's not always about making a conversion and setting an appointment today. Of course, we try to set the appointment, but it's also about filling your pipeline. So I hopefully have a prospect 2 years from now, but it's all about if I stay in touch and deliver value over that time. So any next times for me?
Actually, I thought you did really well. The only next time I can really come up with is if you're wanting to dig a little deeper and make more of a personal contact. Me being so close to retirement, I would be very eager to say what I've done for the last 30 years. So
I didn't even ask you what you do, did I?
yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
and that could have given you a lot more clues, and it could have also given you some insight on me, but it also could have found a buyer or a home for your buyers because where did I just retire from? The post office. Think of all the connections I would have that you could have played off of. So far as the next time, that would be the only thing I would say. You could have dug it just a little deeper on where I was worked all these years and let me talk about myself.
Yep. That's always my thing. I tend to be too quick, too superficial, and I don't dig deep enough, even though I preach it. So thank you for that. All right, guys, we're a little over time, but I wanted to give everyone a flavor, a taste of what we do on Saturdays. And honestly, we're open to having you join us, teach us something, learn something. If you have a script that you want to practice, it's a hassle to go out there and find role play partners. Well, every Saturday, 8:30 EST, hop on the Zoom. I'll add you to the invite. Come on and join us. Any
Hey,
final
Mike,
thoughts?
one other thing I want to put out there. Let's put a shout out to who you stole that line from.
Oh, Lee from New York, Lee
Yeah.
Trapathy. Yeah,
I mean, and she's actually brought another role play last week. So we learned a lot from him. So yeah, it's great that you're learning from all these different agents. We all do the exact same job, but like we've gotten to know Scott down in San Antonio and think of all the things we've learned from each other.
that's
And
right.
it's just, it's a rare opportunity that you provide for us. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. We all sound the same. That's the knock on real estate agents. We're all saying the same stuff, and we sound salesy. And some of the things that we've learned, how to sound different, how to ask the right questions. Keep on improving. That's all we can say. Well, thanks everybody. We'll have another great training for you next Tuesday, every Tuesday here, 11:30 Eastern time. Hop on if you want to be live. And of course, if you have questions, comments, or you want to hear us discuss a topic, drop it in the comments below. And of course, Mike at 21mike.com. That's how you get a hold of me. Thanks, everybody.